Hi, my name is Emily Madill. I'm here with what I call my weekly happiness video where I read aloud my weekly featured article. This week's article is one that I wrote several years ago, but it still felt timely this week. It's up on my website at emilymadill.com. It's also up on thriveglobal.com and the HuffPost. It's called, Are You Willing to Offer Yourself the Comfort That You Seek? It may be easier than you think. What does comfort feel like to you? When you need comfort, do you make yourself a priority or do you tend to distract yourself? As human beings, it's natural to need and desire comfort. It's normal to want to feel like everything will be okay amidst uncertainty. Life is a mix of ups and downs. If we fail to tend to the relationship we have with ourselves, the inner battle we have within us easily becomes the most tumultuous part of our human journey. Making the relationship we have with ourselves a priority is not selfish in a negative sense. On the contrary, investing in our well-being helps us become well-beings. When we lack self-awareness or deny ourselves the comfort and care we need, that's when we become the worst version of ourselves. When we turn our back on ourselves, we create a disconnect. That disconnect is what leads to the tendency to act out, overreact, blame others, fall into the notion that life is terrible or hard, worry incessantly about things out of our control, believe others are out to get us, and basically lose faith in the magic of life itself. When we don't take initiative to care for ourselves, we become the people who others don't want to be around. There is no need to become the high-maintenance friend or the needy relative who lives for being a martyr. Expecting other people to fix us, make us happy, or deal with our unresolved inner turmoil is the epitome of selfishness. It's important to care about the relationship we have with ourselves, period. It's essential to appoint ourselves the curators of our happiness instead of expecting others to fulfill that role. Let's lay to rest once and for all the confused notion that self-care is selfish. Consider what life would feel like if we all gave ourselves a bit more grace and comfort as we need it. Imagine how much smoother our inner game and outer game would become if we simply made ourselves a priority in the caregiving chain. Here are 3 methods that help me cultivate a more awake and in-tune relationship with myself in a way that brings me comfort. If these practices resonate with you, give them a try. Number 1, tend to your core wound. Our core wound is that well-traveled place within us that doesn't feel good. It is often a self-limiting belief we developed in childhood for any number of reasons. I view my core wound as that first inner severing I experienced when I wholeheartedly believed I wasn't good enough. I'm not talking about the kind of not good enough that may be healthy, like the kind where we honor and celebrate our strengths and weaknesses, our darkness and light. I'm referring to the not good enough that brings you to your knees. The kind that creates a serious disconnect and feeling of discord in your inner spirit. That triggered part of us that is real and it can rear its ugly head at the most inopportune times. Usually it comes up when we are feeling vulnerable or when we are in serious need of nurturing. Our core wound can be triggered by new experiences, old experiences, or experiences we haven't yet fully moved through. The point is, our core wound becomes a part of our story. Instead of trying to overcome it, hide it, deny it, or pass by it, simply know it, acknowledge it, and tend to it if it happens to come up. Give the wounded version of yourself some reprieve. Instead of avoiding, covering up, or lashing out, give yourself the comfort you need. Let the evolved part of who you are step up and nurture the wounded part of who you are. It's okay, it's part of being human. Number 2, get clear on your sources of comfort. What are your sources of comfort? Everyone has a different life experience. What brings me comfort most likely isn't what brings you comfort. There are different foods, smells, scenery, sounds, and people we associate with comfort. Get crystal clear on what your sources of comfort include. Make a list of all the healthy ways you can comfort yourself. Think of the different scenarios you tend to find yourself in and match those scenarios up with some go-to comfort cures. If it makes sense, create a comfort kit. I love essential oils and am never without lavender oil or peppermint for headaches. Come to think of it, I also grow lavender and peppermint in my garden and pick it regularly. I keep fresh cut lavender at my bedside, in my bathroom, in my office, and always have a bottle of essential oil in my purse. The point here is know yourself and know yourself well. Then, when you find yourself at a crossroads or simply in a state of discomfort, it's easier to know how to be your best caregiver and reduce the urge to completely melt down. Unless, of course, if having a meltdown is what brings you comfort, then by all means do that. And then finally, number 3, create meaningful rituals. Along with knowing your triggers and your comfort cures, it's simply smart planning to regularly do things that make you feel good. The best way to create healthy habits that stick is to have meaningful rituals in place. For example, sleep is important. We all know that. If you want to set yourself up for a good night's sleep, create healthy rituals. I use a traditional alarm clock instead of my phone because I know if I keep my phone by my bed at night, I'll be drawn to check my email or scroll my news feeds. My addiction to technology will always hijack my sleep, so I plan ahead. Instead of reaching for my phone before I doze off, I think of 3 things I'm grateful for and I set the intention to get the most restful sleep possible. This isn't complex rocket science. I keep my rituals simple and meaningful to me, and that's how they stick. The idea here is to take initiative and aim to be 100% accountable for your own comfort and happiness. Then, instead of defaulting to autopilot and wondering why it all feels so hard, you see yourself as resourceful. When we tune in often and grow our awareness of ourselves, it becomes easier to step in and know how to put parameters in place that will set us up to feel good. What about you? What rituals do you have in place that create comfort in your life? So that is our article this week. Are you willing to offer yourself the comfort that you seek? And I will include a link to the article below this video. And I'll also include a link if you want to sign up to receive my free weekly happiness notes that have articles and videos like these in them. I send them out every Thursday morning to my list. I've been doing that for the last 6 years or so. And so I'll include a link to that. And I just hope that wherever you are in the world and whatever's going on for you, that maybe 1 or 2 seeds were planted here, and that you just remember that you are resourceful and that you know what's going to work best for you. And don't be afraid to offer yourself that comfort and to receive that from yourself and to take that in. And to just nurture yourself and be gentle with yourself today and this week. And if you were looking for any additional resources, I have a couple here that might be helpful. One is called Fall in Love with Your Life 1 Week at a Time. It's a book that I wrote, and it's a journal. And each week you receive a topic and a prompt that kind of prompts you to tune inward and to enhance that relationship and self-awareness. And then at the end of each week, there's space right inside to do some journaling. I find that writing, and especially by hand, is a wonderful way to connect to your own inner wisdom and to just enhance that relationship that you have with yourself and your self-awareness, and to start taking that directive from yourself and to put that in action. And then the other thing I have that I've just launched is called the Fall in Love with Your Life Seasonal Planner. It's a heart-centered feminine way to organize your time. And I do run programs around this. It's a full color 3-month seasonal planner, and it basically sets you up to create small steps in your week towards making yourself a priority in your self-care. And also there's ample room for your doing and all of that as well, but it takes in account that nurturing side and giving some of that energy back to yourself. So I will include links to both of these below this video as well, on how you can get those. Are both up on Amazon and also on my website, emilymadill.com. So I just want to thank you for tuning in. I hope something here was helpful, and I'm wishing you a very happy week, and I hope that this week brings you some sort of comfort. Take care. We'll see you again. Thank you.